When you're young, the temptation is maybe to think, more is more, but a lot of the time less is more. I believe how you measure a good movie is how many times you can see it. With comedies, I like to be a producer, because comedies can get corny and go off track real fast. I'm always the less is more guy when it comes to a scene, so I'ma be the one who will keep it grounded. It was a whole new attitude, no makeup, less is more, the 90s were fun. Less is more. I don't wear makeup if I don't have to. I'd love to tell actors about all the things they don't need to worry about. Less is more. If you have it inside, you don't need to show too much. People pick up on things. It's easy to get sidetracked with technology, and that is the danger, but ultimately you have to see what works with the music and what doesn't. In a lot of cases, less is more. In most cases, less is more. My mom is very much about less is more. She showed me how to use makeup to enhance your beauty but not to change your face, which I think is important. Less is more may be a cliché, but that doesn't mean musicians often heed that advice. Swedish singer-songwriter Christian Mattsson, who performs and records as the tallest man on earth, follows it religiously. It has taken me so long to understand my skin, but the formula that works best for me is gentle and less is more. But I do cleanse my skin well at night with a good natural cleanser by Dr. Hauschka or Avalon Organics. Sometimes it's about less is more. It's about the seed. Thinking about this gigantic tree that you think is so beautiful but it started with this just seed. I think less is more when it comes to makeup. This really helps achieve a lighter complexion. Heavy makeup creates a canvas and can dull the skin. I always think less is more. I think a girl always needs a cardigan, and I tend to go for the sparkles. I have a minimum of 50 embellished cardigans. I'm not a believer in less is more, I'm sort of a believer in more is necessary. I've learned that whether it's with your skin or your hair, less is more. People go and do so much to it, I don't think that's good. Too much product is not good, so I think that's probably the best thing. And not the most expensive thing is the best thing, that's for sure. I've learned that the hard way. Sometimes less is more when it comes to workout routines. But then, even with sex, I'm more in the school of less is more in movies. Pat Summerall personified less is more. His play-by-play was so bare bones but so great because he had a great, deep-toned voice. Basically, less is more when it comes to film. I think sometimes less is more. I don't think it helps to overdo exercising. I think you need to do it to keep your body healthy and fit, but there is a fine line between, healthy and obsession. You have to build your foundation first. Your brain has to sort of connect to your body. Red lipstick aside, I firmly believe that less is more in terms of makeup. I continue to be drawn to clarity and simplicity. Less is more remains my mantra. My philosophy on trends has always been less is more. I feel like my style's always been influenced by less is more. The coolest styles are kind of simple and classic, like a white t-shirt and jeans. Maybe you have a cool belt and cool shoes, but everything else you keep simple. Less is more. You should wear earrings or bracelets, but not both. Less is more. I truly believe in buying a few pieces with better construction. My mom always encouraged me that less is more, makeup-wise. I think that's why I feel more confident when I have a fresh and natural face. I've always been the king of silence. I've always been a minimalist comedian. I've taken my influence from Jack Benny, who was the king of that. I've always done less is more. I'm very classic and structural. I love clean lines and interesting, modern details. But I'm all about being streamlined, less is more. When it comes to jewelry, less is more as you get older. Just before I go out to a party, I look at myself in the mirror and take off half of the jewelry I'm wearing. Anything that rattles or clanks is just too Dowager Duchess. I'm from the less is more school. I had to be in the more is more zone with Dallas Buyers Club, so I was out of my comfort zone, but I had to trust that. Less is more when you do a bright, bold lip. Just draw on black liner and some mascara and you're good to go. In radio, you are the game, so to speak, you have to describe every aspect. In TV, I've always felt less is more, and it's really a question of my setting up the color analyst more than anything else. The biggest thing I have learnt is not to overdo makeup, less is more. A lot of people tend to chew up the scenery. I'm a firm believer in less is more, especially on the big screen. For me, less is more. I don't often wear makeup, but when I do, a little concealer and some powder go a long way. I really believe less is more. When you get older, Too much makeup can be aging, and when you're young, you should enjoy the fact your skin is free from lines and wrinkles rather than overloading it with products. I think less is more when it comes to kissing in the movies. I usually go with the less is more approach. Less is more. I would notice that when I did my makeup, I was putting on more makeup than they did on me at shoots. A little goes a long way, so I definitely learned how to wear less. I'm definitely of the less is more mentality, and what I really appreciate is that fragrance is chemical, and it changes with your body throughout the day. It's a very deeply personal thing. One smell on one person isn't the same on another, and I appreciate the uniqueness of that experience. With grooming, less is more. I like to smell good, so will use a fragrance like Boss Bottled. I don't overdo it, but I moisturize daily, too. I guess he wanted to see a little more sexual activity because in real life, in bed I think less is more and let the woman come to me. Frankly, I don't even need a woman there. Nuts have gotten a bad rap because of their high fat content, but their protein, heart-healthy fats, high fiber, and antioxidant content earn them a place in your daily diet. I often say less is more, and portion control is key to healthfully enjoying nuts. According to me, the key is less is more. For instance, if the print is the star of your outfit, don't accessorize too much. And if you have a gorgeous piece of jewelry, allow it to shine through. I like Nicole Kidman because she is so fashionable she can do less is more. It was very, very simple, but it was so chic. Some people thought she looked washed out, I didn't at all. I sometimes think less is more. If you cut yourself in too many places, it is hard to execute. I'm inspired by artists who use a limited palette, like painter Pete Mondrian, and the White Stripes, two musicians who create an incredible sound. Our food is starting to go back to a less is more style. Spare me the carefully thought-out accessorizing that is supposed to look casually thrown on, while in actuality, hours have been spent on the picking and choosing of said jewelry, scarves, etc. Unless you are Keith Richards and can absolutely pull it off, less is more. My approach to beauty is less is more, but I usually wear a pinky nude lip color, like my pas du tout. I hate to hear less is more. It's a crock of crap. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.